Hey everyone, this is Steve with Keep 'em Rollin', and today's video is just going to be a very short, quick kind of one. I've never done one where I'm on camera, so it's a little odd for me, a little out of the ordinary. I did that World War II Christmas message, but I was being filmed. This is where I'm actually holding the camera myself, so it's different. This is the video called Preparatory Video for the Show of Shows. I am happy to announce that I am going to be attending the Show of Shows down in Louisville, Kentucky here in approximately, gosh, it's this coming Thursday. So this video will be uploaded on Sunday, so we're talking Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I leave Thursday morning, and I am absolutely excited. For those of you who've never been to the Show of Shows or heard about the Show of Shows, it's sponsored by the Ohio Valley Military Collectors Society, and I will say it's probably the biggest show in the United States as far as military goes. It is huge, and I cannot, people, they like to exaggerate. People meet people all the time who say, it was huge, and you get there and it's like, Honestly, folks, this show is crazy big. I went last year, and I could only go for one day. The show, before we get into that, let me do a breakdown of how the show runs. The show runs Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And without looking at any sort of notes, Thursday is for a dealer setup, and then for members of the Ohio Valley Military Collector Society. They get in on Thursday. And the members get in at 12:30 and can be in until 5. Friday the show opens, and I believe it's 9 to 5, and that's open to anybody. Okay, you can come pay your money to get in and go to the show. Saturday, same thing, show's open for the general public, and then Sunday, once again, it's only for members and the vendors, and it runs a very short period of time, and then they get to pick up and head home. Now, it is huge. I went last year, and I could only go for Thursday. So drove down, got there at 12:30, got right into the show, and I could only barely walk the show from one end to the other, walking up and down just the middle of each row. In other words, usually when you go to a military show, you walk down an aisle, but you start on looking at the stuff on the left side, and you get to the end, and you walk back up that same aisle, looking at the stuff on the now opposite side, then you go over. This was literally walking down the middle of the aisle from one end, without, just kind of looking back and forth at the stuff that was on either side, stopping occasionally if something looked really cool. I didn't get to dig into the Riker mount cases. I didn't look under the tables. I didn't dig through the cases on top and so forth and so on. I barely made it through the show from 12:30 to 5. 4.5 hours, and I barely, and near the end, they're making announcements about how the show would be closing in a half an hour and so forth. And I was just booking up and down the aisles, looking at the stuff, trying, seeing if there's anything that would kind of catch my fancy. Now, that shows you how extensive the show is. The show has a lot of U.S., there is some foreign, there's a lot of Third Reich material and so forth and so on. So there are areas where you can just kind of, skirt past if you're not a Third Reich collector and that. But it is a monstrous, monstrous show. So if you can go, I strongly recommend you making this at least a one-time trip. If you're a military collector, at least once you've got to go experience this show. Now, let me bring up a couple other things. Number one, why join the OVMS? Joining the Ohio Valley Military Collector Society gets you into the show on Thursday. It gets you into the show for free. So basically your membership covers admission. So if admission is $10 and your membership is $35 initial, I think it's $35 initial. You're going to want to look it up on their website to be sure. But let's say it's $35 initial membership and then $30 every year afterwards. Well, right away, $35 less $10, now your membership costs you $25. Now, if you go to the show 2 or 3 days, now you're looking at possibly breaking even on your membership fees. Plus, if you go to any of their other shows they have, now it's paid for itself. And you get a really cool badge if you go on John Boy 09 and check out his video about, Show of Shows and that. He shows his really cool badge that he got. And you just keep that badge, and every year they send you a new sticker. I'm still waiting for my updated sticker, so hopefully it'll come before the show. So that's one of the big reasons why you want to join the Ohio Valley Military Collector Society. Is it goes to a good cause, it supports the hobby, they do a lot of stuff to promote the hobby in a positive light, and it allows you this access into the show. Now, for the show itself, some really important tips. Well, before we get to tips, let's cover one other thing that I have said to me numerous times by people who, when I say I'm going to the show, they tend to say, "Oh, going to that show, you know, it's going to be so expensive because it's a big show and people have to pay for their tables and I'll never go to the show." Well, granted, going to the show and, you know, paying for a table, you do have to make up your costs, but you can find deals there. Now, it's not going to be the flea market. I'll be really 100% honest with you. You know, if you're looking for finding that M1 helmet for $5 or that rare visor cap for 50 cents or what have you, you're not going to find it at the Show of Shows. But there are deals to be had. There are fair prices to be paid. You just have to look around. You know, I've walked in the show, and I remember a couple of years ago I was looking for an M1928 pack, you know, one like the guys wore on Normandy and that. It's the standard pack. I wanted to find a nice one, good condition. Went into the show, looking through. First guy, here's one. I'm like, wow, first table, $150. And I thought, $150? Who? That's ridiculous. Go to the next table. Guy's got one now, $90. I'm like, that's a little better, but still. Looked around, found a guy with a pile of field gear, $40, mint condition. So, looking around, you will find items. The other cool thing about the show is there's so much there that if you're looking for something specific, there's a good chance you're going to find it, and you're going to find multiple copies to choose from. Another example, I went to the show, I wanted to find an M1928 Kelly helmet. Is that right? 1920. I wanted to find the, gosh, is that the right number for that? The transitional helmet. Okay, M19, holy cow. It's been a really long day, so bear with me. I wanted to find a Kelly helmet. It was a transitional helmet from World War I to II. And I went in to look for this helmet, and there were like 15 examples throughout the show to choose from. And they ranged in price from ridiculously over-expensive to a good deal, and the condition was from really crummy to just absolutely stellar. So if you're looking for rare or unusual items, or you're looking for that item to fill a hole in your collection, there's a good chance you're going to find it at the Show of Shows. So, tips now for the show. If you're going to go, a couple very important things. Get there early, okay? The earlier the better. Now, the only reason I say this is not because you're going to miss out on good deals if you don't get there early. The show is so monstrously huge that there's just so much to look at, okay? You don't have to worry about that. In fact, the first year I went on a Friday. I got there Friday morning, and there was a line of probably 100 people waiting to get in the show, or more. This huge line, and I thought, I mean, it's like being at a really bad estate sale. I'm like, I'm just not going to find anything. I mean, this is just ridiculous. Well, the line moves, everybody goes in. I walk into this hall expecting to be packed. And because it's so big, it was like there was nobody there. Okay? Getting there early, the reason is not the line. The reason is that the show is so huge that you really, you want to have the time to spend to look through everything. That's the reason. Okay, so number one, get there early. It's at the Louisville, Kentucky Fair and Expo Center in Louisville. These buildings are monstrous. They're modern, they're clean, they're beautiful, easy parking, just an excellent place to go to, and just a neat place to see. Right off the highway, right by the airport, great hotels, so it's all, you know, restaurants, everything's right there. Now, tips for the show, get there early, okay? As you're shopping the show, don't be afraid to strike up conversation with the people that are selling items. In fact, I find that greeting them, you know, good morning, good afternoon, how are you doing today, that kind of starts that conversation with the person. One of the things I always do personally is I always ask before I pick something up. If it's something that's clearly there that I can look at, then I don't mind. But if it's something that might be a little fragile, for instance, you know, I'm going to look for a Crusher cap and I see a guy has one on a shelf, I'm going to ask him, And I'm going to ask him because I don't know if there's something wrong with the hat. Maybe the stitching's weak on it. Maybe there's this, maybe there's that. And I don't want to make a faux pas and damage the hat. So I always ask. And you know what? I find that asking tends to kind of show that you really are interested in the vendor's wares. And I've had more than one vendor say, wow, I can't believe you asked. That's incredible. You know what? You're the first person, and the dialogue starts again. It shows you're serious, and who knows, it might get you a better discount. So always ask. If you're going to try something on, ask. That's a biggie. Some vendors will not let you try anything on. I always ask, like hats, can I try it on my head? And the only reason I do that, I tell them, I said, my head's a pretty good size. Putting it on my head gives me an indication as to whether it will work for the glass heads that I have to display them, okay? And they're usually fine with it. And then do it carefully, okay? If you pick something up off a table, put it back where you found it. Don't just toss it back on the table. Respect the seller's goods. It will only help you in the long run. Now, as far as pricing goes, I always ask if they can do better. Some people like to dicker. Some people like to, would you take 5? Would you take 2? So forth. I usually just say, hey, you got 25 on it? Is that the best price you can do? Cash? Could you do better? If it's a really big ticket item, $200, $300, $400, don't be afraid to ask. But be ready to pay up the full price. I've had items where, I'm going to buy it. It's $200. I'm going to buy it no matter what. But I'm going to still ask. And if they say 175, great. If they say, no, I need 200, then I buy it. Don't argue with them. Their prices are their prices. I've watched people get so upset at vendors. Oh, those things sell on eBay for blank or blah, 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 blah. You know what? They don't care. They can price their things for whatever they want, all right? If it doesn't sell, it doesn't sell. It's not your responsibility to educate them. If the price is ridiculous, just, okay, and walk on. That's what I just file it away. Wow, that was pretty expensive. And I walk on. It's not worth getting into some sort of argument or tussle or what have you. Okay? Now, other tips. Dress comfortably. It's a big hall. There is convenient parking, but it's still a long walk from inside the hall all the way back out to your car. So what I tend to do is I tend to wear comfortable shoes, really comfortable socks, blue jeans, a short sleeve shirt, a shirt that I can wear over my short sleeve shirt, so if it is a little cool, I can have that shirt on just to give me that little extra insulation, etc. But it's a shirt that I can take off if I start to get overheated. Okay? I leave my coat, gloves, scarf, hat, everything is left in the car because I don't need it, and it's just going to get in your way. All right. I always carry a bag with me. I have like a tactical backpack that I carry. I take all the pouches off it because I want it streamlined enough that as I'm turning around and stuff, I'm not bumping people or knocking displays over, all right? But the backpack's big enough to hold everything that I need for the day. And it's also big enough to put cool purchases in as I'm walking around. Now, what do I carry in my backpack? I was going to show you, but I'll just tell you. Very simple. I keep number one, a notepad, a pencil, and a pen. These are essential for taking notes. Especially if you're going to do 2 days or 3 days, you can look at an item and go, is that quite right? I'm not sure if that's right or not. Let me take some notes on it, and then I'll look it up and come back tomorrow and make a decision I'm going to buy it or not. Okay? Always in that notebook, write down where you found the item. The show is so huge. They mark each aisle with a letter. A, B, C, D, all the way up through, I believe, double G to show you how many rows there are. You want to write specific, detailed instructions how to get back to that item. Row I, halfway down, on the left side, table with the large flag above it. You put as many reference tools because I guarantee you, if you don't, you will never get back to that item again. And I've seen, once again, lots of frustrated people with, I can't remember where it was. Oh, I was going to buy that. Oh my gosh. So write it down. Notebook, pen, pencil, essential. It's also good to get emails if you meet people. This is not just about buying things. It's about meeting people, networking. You meet a guy who you collect women's and whack, waves, so forth and so on, clothing. You meet a guy there, he collects the same thing. You strike up a great friendship. That's the way to do it. Another thing is, it's a great place to meet friends as far as fellow YouTubers. You know, I'm hoping to see John Boy there. I know John Boy 09's going. We've already been in touch back and forth a bit, so I'm hoping to cross paths with him, and I will be shooting a video while I'm there, so all of you that can't go will be able to experience this, and I'm hoping to get some footage of John Boy on there as well. So, we'll see about that. So, pen, pencil, paper, I carry my wallet, my cash, I always keep it secured. Make sure you're organized with that, because the worst thing to do is to set things down and lose them. I have this philosophy that when I buy something, I pay them cash, and then I stand there for a few minutes, put the money back, put the wallet back, zip it up in the right compartment, put everything away. That way, I don't lose something or leave something at a table. All right? Pen, paper, wallet, I bring in my camera. That's me, because I'm going to do some YouTube shooting. Now, something else that you should bring is you should bring water. Either some plastic bottles of water that you refill, or bring a plastic water bottle itself. I kind of misspoke on that. Let's rewind that. Bring water. You can either bring the disposable water bottles like you buy at the store, or bring your own refillable bottle. There we go. That makes more sense. You will become dehydrated. Okay, it's a lot of walking, you get really focused in what you're doing, and you can forget to stop and get a drink. All right, and trust me, you don't want to come down with a migraine, you don't want to come down with dehydration where you actually become sick. So bring the water and drink regularly. I try to make a point of, after completing an aisle, I get a water bottle out, take a break for a minute, take a drink, go up the next aisle. All right, bring snacks with you. They have food vendors, but they can be expensive, and maybe the food's not quite what you want. Bring snacks. Bring a sandwich with you. The other things to bring with you, so we said water, sandwich, medication. Medication is critical. If you have to have pills for certain things, bring them in your pack. Once again, a long walk back to the car, okay? Aspirin. Another huge thing. I've been there before, and I get so excited. I'm going through, I'm looking at things, I'm bending over tables, and my back starts to hurt. So it's great to have that aspirin to pop, to help that backache. Or, heaven forbid, sometimes I get migraines, and having an aspirin right there to take that for that migraine, crucial. Okay? So, medicine, notepad, pen, paper, money, cash. Bring cash in all denominations. 50s, 20s, 10s, 5s, 1s. Have them all broken out, because nothing's worse than dickering a vendor down. Oh, hey, you got $10 on it. Would you take less? Oh, I guess I can take 6. Okay, that's great. Here's a $100 bill. Not a good thing. Plus, sometimes they can't break it. So, all sorts of different variations of cash. So you can say, okay, here's your $6. Thank you very much. Credit card. Some vendors take credit cards. Bring that along if that's the way you want to go. I always prefer cash on the barrelhead. Another tip is, don't be afraid to ask the vendor if they would be willing to keep an item behind the table. If it's something rather large, something rather unwieldy, that's a good way to go. If it's something that you got a really good deal on, sometimes it's better just to make that walk out to the car and back in. Okay? Now, covered a lot of different things. I always bring a magnifying glass. I've talked about that in a previous video. Magnifying glass. I bring a jeweler's loupe so I can get right down there to look at things. I bring my smartphone, which has internet on it, so I can look things up. If there's a maker's mark I'm questioning or what have you, I can get on my phone and look it up. My phone has a flashlight on it to help highlight things if it's really dark and hard to see. I bring a separate flashlight just in case, a little tiny pocket mag light, so I can always highlight things if I have to. I bring my list of things to buy. This is imperative. Create a list of what you're looking for, okay? Doesn't mean you have to stick to it, but it gives you some grounding, because, once again, you go on this show, you are gobsmacked, okay? So bring a list with you of stuff that you need. And finally, most important thing, have fun. Enjoy yourself. Look at things that you don't normally collect. I'd mentioned the Third Reich stuff. They have cases of stuff that is the rarest of the rare. Hermann Goering's baton. Holy cow! It's $30,000 or some really astronomically high number. Take a moment to look at it. Just ponder that history that you are looking at. Not, and I'm not trying to highlight Third Reich by any means, but, I've seen World War II U.S. uniforms of very rare people, generals and history, people that are from the history books, truly. Pause. Enjoy. As you're going around the show, take a moment, take a breather, stop after a few minutes, go sit down, take your shoes off, stretch your toes, put on your phone, watch a video for a few minutes, drink some water, get some food. Just enjoy the moment. So, once again, this is Steve with Keep 'em Rolling, my first kind of on-camera appearance. I look forward to seeing some of you at the Show of Shows. Hopefully there's more going that I am not aware. If you are and want to shoot me a note that you're going, I'd love to hook up with you. And I'm hoping to hook up with John Boy and have him in the video. For those of you who can't go, guess what? Keep watching. My goal is I'm going to be there Friday or Thursday, possibly Friday. Depends on how much I get through the show and what I find and so forth and so on. I promise you that I will be uploading either Saturday, this coming Saturday, or this coming Sunday, all the footage I took of the Show of Shows so you can kind of get an idea. And hopefully, for those of you who can't go, it kind of whets your appetite and makes you go, next year, maybe I'm going to go to this next year, and I'm going to start saving my money now so I can have some fantastic cash and make that huge pilgrimage, if you will, to the Show of Shows. So, once again, this is Steve reminding all of you to keep 'em rolling. I'm going to see if I turn this off here from the side.